Tell me how Wizards of the Coast just decided to drop the craziest banned and restricted announcement in Magic's history. I mean, look, there's just so many implications that folks aren't talking about from the articles. Forget the cards. Y'all are missing the context in the written form. And that's what I'm here to address today. We are going to talk about the cards. We're going to talk about some modern, and heck, tomorrow, even though I'm talking about Pauper today, I need to make a whole separate video on Pauper because of what Gavin is talking about. It's absolutely insane what's being written in this article. So we're going to go through it, and especially the important pieces. I really need you as the average constructed player to be paying attention to some of the implications of card design moving forward regarding this banned and restricted announcement. Let's hop right into the article. So from the top, legacy and vintage, all cards that bring sticker or an attraction into the game are banned. So this is also true in the Pauper format as well. It talks about it in the separate Pauper article, but this is actually honestly net positive. The whole sticker thing was really just absolutely a nightmare for just black border cards. The fact that you had to set this up in paper in such an extreme way, and the implementation of it on Magic Online was severely different than in paper. It was actually more consistent online, and really the big card to name here is Name Sticker Goblin. So Name Sticker Goblin Online essentially just had you, instead of having these stickers with different vowels on them, and based on the number of vowels you get different like amount of mana, online it would just be rolling a dice. So you would always be paying 3 for more mana, and the dice roll would be between having 4 mana, 5 mana, or 6 mana. So obviously based on that, you could just go absolutely insane. There was, like, especially in Pauper, a name sticker red aggro deck, and I imagine in Legacy as well there were name sticker decks that especially kind of one for one in paper that aggroed out a lot of red cards. The card was actually pretty good because, again, it guaranteed you more on mana. Now there's obviously like other interesting ones that happen like kind of throughout, but again, Name Sticker Goblin is really the kind of big one here. Attraction cards, I don't think we really had like any real, I don't know, list of these, and this is notably banned in Legacy and Vintage. And in Pauper we had the All That Glitters ban, which is absolutely insane because, I mean, it feels like this is kind of a long time coming, but this is really going to shift the metagame because a lot of decks were playing around beating affinity. A lot of times you could not tap out with All That Glitters just coming out here, and so this is a good change for the format. In terms of Legacy and Vintage, they go over a pretty extensive section of this, and I think like this middle paragraph is actually absolutely insane in terms of the implication. And so Legacy and Vintage here, all cards that bring name sticker and attraction are banned. Name Sticker Goblin being reasonable to play in Legacy. It just makes some awkwardness in tournaments. Not only do Goblin players need to recreate and bring stickers, many decks that don't feature them and use Phyrexian Metagrimor feel obligated to bring sticker decks because then you can copy Name Sticker Goblin and get the effect. Really what I'm looking for is this article right here, this part of the article. The primary goal behind making some cards in Unfinity legal was that sticker cards and attractions could be played in Commander. Okay, but there's no existing way to make a bunch of cards legal in Commander and not Legacy. Okay, we had thought the power level of those cards was low enough that if people tried them in Legacy every now and then, it'd be a fun surprise. We missed on Name Sticker Goblin though, and now tournaments feel obligated to interact with the sticker mechanics. So what y'all are missing on this, and I know it's gonna fly over a lot of y'all's heads, they're essentially admitting that they don't know how to design cards for Commander that would also equally affect Legacy. They don't know how to address this at all. Essentially, they're printing all these Commander cards that they have to like essentially power down in many ways. So if you see a lot of these Commander cards that are now saying once a turn, once each turn, a lot of these Commander aficionados are like, oh, this is great. This promotes different deck building and great. No. We need to stop this once per turn thing. We need to allow busted things to happen in a format that can self-regulate. What this really means is we can't have these cards in Legacy because these like infinite combo engines that don't restrict effects to once a turn, where they gain life once a turn, they deal damage once a turn, you gain mana once a turn, like these effects that are abusable in an infinite sense now have to be powered down for Legacy, and therefore honestly make the format of Commander, in my opinion, worse, right? Like it opens up more restricted budget versions of certain effects, which I will say is good. And sometimes you only want certain effects once a turn, especially with certain pods where you have effects that a lot of players don't like, and so they will restrict infinites and they'll house rule it. This is a good way to police that. But this essentially means that they don't know how to handle this, which I think is absolutely wild. And I'm going to shout out to a Saffron Olive tweet, which I'm going to link down below, where he talks about you can literally just make another format for that. I don't understand. Like, you could literally change like a legacy legality, or you could change like you can make a new format where cards are legal from all formats, just not Commander products. You know what I mean? Like that's like you could just make another format that does that, but they don't want to do that. So they don't want to address legacy at all. They want legacy to essentially die from a competitive sense. They don't want to support it. They don't want to acknowledge it. They don't know how to build around it, and they don't want to address the problem from a front-facing perspective. And I also will understand the counter argument of just format bloat. There's so many formats and ways to interact with the game of Magic, and having a format that essentially is like Vintage Legacy, but then like doesn't have Commander cards legal, isn't really Vintage Legacy. Like, it's not really an eternal format, which is the pull of those formats like Pauper, Legacy, and Vintage, because you have everything that's legal just with a slight restriction. Pauper has the restriction of everything being common. Vintage has, you know, everything legal, but then you have the ability to restrict cards. And then Legacy has all formats legal, but then with an actual banned and restricted list. So it's not really an eternal format if you just start banning Commander cards, but that's the way to do that, right? I don't know. It just feels absolutely insane that that is the way that they want to address that. So yeah, there you go. Big piece there. The next piece I want to address is Modern. Standard and Pioneer, not really my formats, but so Modern. This probably comes as no surprise, but Modern Horizons 3 right around the corner, releasing June 14, 2024. It's actually really soon. As of the release of this video, spoiler season is pretty much right it's right about to start. A lot of leaks happening right now as well, so that's probably net negative for not only the security of Wizards of the Coast and the whole Pinkerton nonsense, but also as creators having like kind of card previews and everything, a lot of their cards being kind of shown, because a lot of these are rares and stuff. But naturally, expect Modern Horizons 3 will impact the format. I'm personally very excited to see that brewing in the experimentation. The last action we took, there was the ban on violent outbursts, has left the modern metagame in a rather healthy state to absorb Modern Horizons 3. The play and win rates of various cascade strategies has come back in line to a place where they're happy with. There are also murmurings and concerns about Leyline of the Guild Pact, enabling a variety of Sign of Draco strategies. Even around the time we discussed the format, the community has experimented with many of them, but what has emerged as the most popular and strongest strategy as a 5-color take on traditionally 2-color Murktide decks has settled into an appropriate win and play rate. Enjoy your Modern Horizons 3 pre-release. So I think this is okay. Honestly, like right on the brink of Modern Horizons 3, I think there's a lot of discussions around banning grief right now. I think there's a lot of frustrations, especially around the legacy formats, where people are just tired of scam. In legacy, like, you have reanimate as well, which is also really frustrating. Whereas, you know, you have cards like not dead after all in Modern, which you need to kind of reanimate immediately, and you need the card to die on the spot or respond to a death trigger, whereas a grief can die and then you can reanimate it, and you can just reanimate it later as well. So it's honestly just like a better card. So there's a lot of frustrations in Legacy and in Modern around grief's play pattern, so only time will tell to see if it needs to leave the format. I personally believe it does. The card is just like a net negative on the format. I definitely was on the train of ban Renin 6, ban Grief, ban Fury. All three of those cards I think are absolutely just not appropriate for the Modern format. But maybe that's just me being a boomer about my standards about Modern. I'm also pretty salty about all the cards being shown so far. None of them have to do with mill. All of them are honestly taking down the mill archetype. So we'll just have to wait and see. Maybe there's an uncommon or something that really pushes us forward. And there's a lot of folks that aren't really interested in mill, so maybe that's why the leakers aren't really pushing the mill cards. So I don't know. But that's Modern, and that's the legacy format. The last thing I want to touch on is Pauper. So Gavin's full article essentially alludes to the fact that there's a whole line, and I'm going to make a whole other video about this because this is absolutely insane, about how there is a card that Gavin straight up says, you know, that he knows about coming in Modern Horizons 3, and the Pauper panel don't, because they don't get access to early cards. The Pauper panel does not know about, that will probably need to be banned in Pauper. Insane. Like, the implication of that. Like, so first of all, shout out to the Pauper panel, shout out to Gavin for really experimenting with Pauper. I think this is actually a net positive for the format. It's really important to do experimentation, to to push the boundaries of what a format can be, and Pauper is one of those super underexplored formats. And I think it's really important, again, to be doing stuff like this to see what is that line breaking, because we've had like really powerful cards enter this format, right? Like All That Glitters now banned, but has been in the format for a while through experimentation. We have some reanimation effects that have seen the changing of cards like One Land Spy, and so we have a lot of cards that coming from the commander sets that have entered the format that have provided a lot of variability. But I think just straight up implying that they're either downshifting a card or making a net new card that is going to be banned or break the format is absolutely insane as an implication. So I want to hear your thoughts in the comments down below. What do you think that card is? What is the card from Pauper that is going to be banned coming June 14th from Modern Horizons 3? And we probably won't even get it spoiled, honestly, but I will say there are some Pauper content creators that are getting preview cards. So I would highly check out that list. Look at those Pauper content creators, because they could be spoiling cards like that very soon. So who knows? Could be available at a Pauper table near you. They address some they address some kind of other formats as well, you know, with Timeless, and I love the quick mention of Archive Trap. Archive Trap is seeing significant players are exploring more mill-based strategies, and just the fact that mill is now like a tier 2 strat in Timeless just makes me so happy. So shout out to all my arena players on kind of mill right now. Mill is thriving on arena, and it couldn't make me any happier. So regardless, those are the big things that I wanted to touch on this banned and restricted announcement. Again, the implication of sticker, the lack of planning or forward action on legacy versus commander legality, and just the straight up implication that we're getting some busted comments in Modern Horizons 3 out of the Pauper format is crazy. So let me know what you think in the comment section down below. This is honestly, in my opinion, this is the craziest banned and restricted announcement to date. They've kind of fully admitted that the whole attraction thing, the whole black border experimentation with the unsets was a complete mistake. All That Glitter is great, you know, net positive change, but, you know, addressing commander and legacy legality, and then as well, that whole Pauper thing, absolutely crazy. Modern Horizons 3 right around the corner. This is about to be a crazy summer for Magic. As always, I want to hear your thoughts in the comment section down below. We got a lot of content coming down the line talking about Modern Horizons stuff like this. So let's get right to it. Let's get to some Modern Horizons 3 preview season.